starting. How would you assess the start of the season so far, Darin?
Surviving. I mean, it's been up and down. We've played well in stretches and then not so well in stretches. Obviously, still trying to figure out how we're going to get guys out on the mound on a consistent basis. But the fight's there, and again, starting conference play or non-conference play, I don't change the way we go about our business. We just get ready for the next game.
Would you like to be doing more than surviving?
Well, sure.
Kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, offensively, I think we're having quality at bats, finding ways to, score runs, maybe not always hitting the ball so well, but grinding out at bats. Defensively, we've moved some pieces around to find some offense, and, we're going to take some of those lumps with us. We get that. And on the mound, again, we're just, we have the hand we're dealt, and we got to find a way to make it work.
How much progress have you seen from that bullpen, just as it's kind of coming together here?
No, I mean, again, it's hit or miss. It's just we've been very fortunate since we've been here to have a pretty established bullpen, and that's by choice. I mean, we feel very strongly that that's a big part of what you need to have a successful team. And we're trying to put guys into situations that haven't been in before, and they're learning on the fly. So it's a work in progress.
How are Edens and McSteen coming along?
They're coming along well. Edens threw a bullpen over the weekend, or over the last couple of days, and it was promising. So we'll just kind of keep going, but hopefully not too far along here we can possibly have him back, and McSteen's starting to throw and feels good. So what his timetable is, I don't know, but obviously those two guys would be nice to have with their experience and stuff.
Have you had a chance to see how any Big Ten teams are doing, or to take a look at them?
Well, I tell you, I'm pretty focused on what we're doing. You take bits and pieces, you look at, obviously I looked at Minnesota, and they have a quality baseball team with a lot of left-handed bats that can really hit, and they've got some great arms on the mound, so just another really solid Gopher team, and we'll have our hands full.
The decision to move, did you guys just make that decision just recently?
I did. I talked to John with Minnesota, and just with the possibility of weather, it's like we're sitting around, we're spring break. What's the point of waiting and then running into some rain? So moved it up a little bit. Just we couldn't move it up any farther because the umpires aren't going to be in town yet. But we'll I just think it's the right thing to do to get a game each day.
And then the rest of the weekend, there's some chance of rain too.
Yeah, that's part of it. You just get the first one out of the way, and that plays into it too. Let's make sure we have the best opportunity to get this first one in, so we can figure it out. But in the past we've had curfews, with travel, we've had weather. You want to find every way possible to get all your conference games in. So that's why we're doing what we're doing.
What went into that decision of how to use Matt against Oral Roberts, Matt Waldman?
Matt, well, we knew we were going to start him on Saturday, so you want to limit him. It's basically a bullpen day for him, so you want to get him a little bit of work, get his feedback out on the mound, and that's why we put him in there.
How'd you feel like Nate came out than yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, his angles on his pitches were better. He was missing down in the zone on a more consistent basis. It wasn't perfect, but it was definitely a step in the right direction. So that was good to see him get out there and be efficient with his pitches and mix like he can, and we're going to need that moving forward.
How fine is the line when you have guys like Edens and McSteen, and you want to get them in, use them, but you got to make sure that they're absolutely ready to go?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm a very patient person, and we're going to make sure they're ready to go. There's nobody's going to force our hand and make them come back quicker than they are. We have a great trained staff that knows what they're doing, and when they're ready, we'll get them in there, and but that's going to be on their timeline. There's no set time when they need to be back, and regardless of how we do, it's not going to determine when they come back.
You might be patient, but are they patient? Because I imagine they're pretty ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, but again, there's a process you have to go through, and the stuff has to be there, and my experience, once they say they're ready, they're probably not quite ready. So you're probably going to be a little more patient than they are, but it's a credit to them that they want to get back in there. But at the same time, we got to be smart about it.
Does Minnesota going to TCU and winning 2 or 3 does that tell you anything extra about them?
That they obviously played a tough schedule this year. That's kind of what they used to do in the past. It looks like they're getting back to that. But they have a lot of experience back offensively, facing one of the better pitching staffs in the country, and went down there and swung the bats very well. So we know they can hit, and that just proves it even more.
Good.
You guys have obviously played well in second and third games of series this year. Is there something you're figuring out in those first games as a team?
I think just getting your emotions under control, and you know, you come out, you're excited and probably playing a little too fast, and you settle in. It's just getting to that game speed before the first game, and you know, we're not doing anything different going into those games. We treat every game exactly the same, and for whatever reason, that's kind of how it's been playing out. But you know, it's something we definitely are looking at and trying to adjust different things. It gets tough to have practices on days like today when you get home at 2 in the morning, and you know, you got to get them some rest. I mean, those are the NCAA rules. So we just got to make sure that we're preparing and getting up to game speed, so we're not shocked by the speed of the game at the start.
Darin, you guys are going to the wristband thing with signs. Is that, I mean, what goes into that? What went into that decision?
Well, you have 20 hours a week to practice and lift, and when you spend about 20 hours full of some practice time throughout the spring trying to get signs right, and they still don't get them right, then, well, just enough was enough. I don't particularly like it, but it's we haven't missed any signs, and it's just something that, you know, now we've freed up a lot of practice time as well to not have to sit there and work on all those things. And it's something a lot of guys had used in the past, like in high school, and just talking to them, and it just seemed like it was something that we could eliminate some of the mistakes and free up some time.
I asked this before, but you're feeling better about where the pieces fit defensively and batting order, or is that still a work in progress?
You know, I liked the batting order is going to always change, just kind of how guys are swinging it, how they're seeing the ball, what kind of matchups we have. You know, from a defensive standpoint, with Wilkening being out for a little while here, you know, it kind of switches things around, and we want to see some guys out there as well. And guys like Rapinski, I mean, you're swinging the bat like he is, you got to find a place on the field for him. And you know, he has a little bit of inexperience defensively, but again, you take the good with the bad. But now Jesse should be back tomorrow, ready to go. So hopefully we can find some consistency as far as defensively. You know, we've had some guys that have played at a high level for us that just haven't done it so far, but hopefully we can get that figured out.
Zach Lucky surprised you at all? He's a
No.
player.
No, I mean, that's Mojo Hagee was the same thing, and that's why we do an open competition. And you know, I saw him play very well in high school, had a lot of success, and you know, I think the game was a little fast for him at first, but you can see he's starting to settle down a little bit, has control of his at bats for the most part. But most importantly, defensively, you can see it's starting to slow down for him, and he's doing a better job of taking care of the baseball. So yeah, again, making the most of his opportunities.
When you shuffle through some of the center fielders the way you guys have, what are you looking for out of that position? And is a guy like Nolan Hackle a possibility too?
Yeah, I mean, probably not in center, but you know, we have guys we can feel play a high level of defense out there. Obviously, that's important, and then just playing matchups as far as, you know, the pitchers, and we're fortunate to have a few guys that have the ability to play out there, and you know, again, just trying to find the right combination of guys each day to find a way to win.
Why hasn't a guy like Nolan gotten in there yet?
Well, he had a little bit of arm trouble, and you know, just from where we're at as far as, you know, you go off of practice, and he's a hard-working kid, and you know, just as far as taking care of the baseball and maybe the quality of his swings, you know, it's just an ongoing competition, and he had a little setback with his arm, so that kind of slowed him down the last month or so. So you know, who knows? We'll see how it plays out.
As a defending champion, probably you're targeted, have a little target on your back. Do you think about that stuff? Is that anything that's even part of your mindset?
Oh, I probably mentioned it the first 5 seconds of our first meeting in the fall, and I haven't even thought about it since. I mean, it's this conference is just a grinder any way you look at it, and you know, other than Indiana probably having a couple-year run there really hasn't been one team at the top consistently. You know, Minnesota's been there, and we've been there the last couple of years, but you know, I expect a dogfight regardless. So I really don't even think about that stuff. Okay.
The bullpen's allowed 20 runs in the last 4 games. Is there something with the preparation with that, or is it more an experience thing right now?
I mean, it's just, you know, again, it's one of those things where you got guys in roles that probably going into it weren't expecting to be in those roles, and haven't been in those roles, and you're going to have to learn on the fly. So like I've told everybody, buckle up. It's going to be a roller coaster ride. We're going to have some ups and downs that coming into the 7th inning with a lead, and you got your boys just lined up that have been there and done that. That's just not there right now. So that's what we have, and we're going to have to find a way to make it work.
Are there some things that make Big Ten baseball unique, you know, compared to West Coast teams or other teams you play?
I guess I don't really get into non-conference, conference where you're playing. My mind doesn't think that way. But typically speaking, yeah, you get some pretty physical hitters. You know, it seems like when you join the Big Ten, you you got to come out swinging out at the first pitch. I mean, so you got to really be able to cross count your pitches and make quality pitches earlier. They're going to get you. And I think some other teams, generally speaking, probably take a few more pitches. Big Ten, that's not the case. They're trying to get their swings off, so making quality pitches right out of the gate is very important.
Is there anything about Minnesota you can always count on about that program right now?
Big, giant left-handed hitters and guys with really good arms on the mound. I mean, it's just they recycle those guys, and they had just a little bit of a down time when we first got here in the Big Ten, but before that, my goodness, they were unbelievable, and you can see the talent on the field is back to where it was, and it presents a great challenge for us, and we know that every time we play them, super well coached, I mean, great players, and you make any mistakes, you have to pay for them. So we have to limit the free bases, play good defense, and when we've done that against them, we've had chances, because they're going to get their hits, but you just can't help them out at all with extra bases.
Okay.
What did Matt Waldron show you that made you decide to give him that Saturday start?
Throwing strikes. I mean, we're just trying to find pieces, trying to get him going. He hasn't thrown the ball like he can, and his best times that he's had has been as a starter. I can sit here and try and make up a bunch of nice reasons why. Well, we've got to find people to get people out, and he's the next man up.